Is Algorand one of the best opportunities in the cryptocurrency market right now? Well, guys, I've got a big warning for you when it comes to Algorand for people who are sitting on the fence right now. So make sure you stick around to find out what that is. Let's dive into it, guys. So jumping across to Algorand, before we get into the charts and things like that, I just want to discuss a little bit about Algorand and compare it to other things that other people are talking about. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot of hype recently from HBAR, from Solana, from other blockchains moving into the space. And obviously, it's a competitive space. HBAR does something a bit different from all the others, but Algorand itself has been pretty successful. Super efficient, fast blockchains, never been hacked, unlike others such as Solana. So it kind of covers a few of the different bases that maybe the Ethereums and Solanas of this world don't really cover. And if we jump across to CoinMarketCap, then we can see that Algorand itself currently has a market cap of just under $2 billion. That's pretty small when we talk about the potential of a token like this. And that sees Algorand sitting in the number 35 position. Above that, guys, you can see Solana currently sat in 11th and Ethereum up here in the 2nd position. Now, in theory, if you've been subscribed to my channel, then you understand that if we go down through this list, that pretty much all of these tokens, in my opinion, if they can survive a crypto bear market, then they stand to do very well as we move into the bull market, unless we're talking about like the Cardanos and stuff of this world who never really seem to move anywhere, but don't worry too much about that. If we look into the Algorand chart, nothing particularly crazy here when we compare it with other cryptocurrencies. You know, it had the same kind of crazy blow off top that we saw before, and then the classic kind of bear market dip towards the bottom. Now, whether or not this is the bear market bottom, no one's particularly sure. Obviously, guys, calling the bottom of any market is particularly difficult. And if we look into our Wall Street cheat sheet, guys, then we can probably work out roughly where we are in the crypto market. Now, obviously, we've had our massive decline, whether we're in the anger phase, the depression phase, the disbelief, or, you know, potentially we could be in the disbelief phase. A lot of people are sort of saying, you say that the depression phase is probably finished and that people are actually pretty excited. And while this hasn't been a huge amount of capitulation, we could have just seen a bigger push up towards this level of anger and then see a slow kind of tail off. All depends on what's happening with Bitcoin. People are talking about what's going on in the S&P, various other things like that. Now, if you look though, throughout this sort of area or the market, we can see that there is, fluctuations, and we do see a bit of up and down, but we don't see a huge amount of up and down. And if we jump back to the chart, that's because during this area of the market up here, you can see the size of the candlesticks. These candlesticks are massive because there's lots of money in the market, and that means that there's a huge amount of liquidity, which causes big spikes, volatile prices, and things like that. When you get down towards here, the money in the market is just not that big. So the big players who've got big money to move markets are not really that fast. So what that means for us is, yes, if we get in and go and buy right now, we could potentially see a further downside if Bitcoin takes a slip further than that. And you could say, guys, if we are to see a little bit of a further slip in the market, then you could see returns down maybe another 30-40%, maybe a little bit more, whatever. And who knows if this is the bottom or whether we see a bottom further down. But if we look into Algorand right now, actually on the weekly, we haven't seen much of a surge in the price of this token against others in the market. Rising about 50 to 60% is not huge for a market cap of Algorand size. In contrast, over on Solana, we've seen Solana pushing 186%. So jumping back to Algorand, we could imagine that potentially that we are going to see even more upside. And we haven't really seen Algorand explode to the potential price that we might see. Now, everyone right now is saying, are we at the bottom of the market? Where's the market going to fall to? My point of showing you earlier of the downside potential is that there is not actually a huge amount of downside risk, in my opinion. Now obviously what I'm saying is not financial advice. Obviously, Algorand, like any crypto, could go to zero. In the previous bull market, we saw Solana exploding. And I have a kind of a bit of a theory behind this against why we saw other tokens like Algorand exploding quite to the level that Solana and others did. If you look at Solana, behind Solana was some excellent marketing. I think, to be honest, crypto is a very shallow market. Many of the people within crypto don't really understand what different cryptocurrencies do, and therefore it's not really about the kind of the technology and everything behind the crypto. Obviously it plays an importance, but a lot of it's to do with the community that's built behind a platform, and not only that, the level of marketing that is put into it. If we can see Algorand upping their game when it comes to marketing moving forward into this bull market, then we're going to see an absolutely savage pump, in my opinion. How do I know whether it's going to get started right now or not? And if it is or if it isn't, what do I need to do? Well, guys, if you're asking yourself that question, then one, you're probably right to be asking yourself that question, because everyone, experienced or inexperienced, is also asking the same question. But also imagine that if you don't know much about in terms of chart analysis and things like that, then you're definitely going to want to take a systematic approach. When it comes to trading crypto, there's only really one way that you can do it, and that is having a system where I say to myself, I'm going to be doing X when this happens or Y when this happens. Now, what I like to do is every time I have X amount of money, I want to use that money and invest into certain tokens. And when the market's low like this, systematically I try and do that every week when the market is in this situation. Now, you would say that looking at a market like this, that the anticipation is that at some point we will be returning back to beyond this high here, which is currently sat at 2.78% from current levels. Then you're looking at a pump of like 890%. Okay, so a 9x pretty much. So how do I know whether or not I need to be buying now or whether I need to be waiting for a push down here? Well, guys, the point of what I'm just saying there is that actually it's a 9x. And if I'm trying to wait for it to go lower and lower and lower, I'm doing the exact same as the people who are sitting here waiting for it to be higher and higher and higher. And it's just this one emotion called greed. And we need to get on top of the two emotions that exist within crypto. One is greed and one is fear. Fear also at this level could be keeping us from getting in because we're worried that it's going to continue going lower. But I would say in this situation right now, we're starting to get greed outplaying fear, because many people are not scared anymore because they feel that the bear market's over, but they just want to get in a little bit lower, just so they can make that extra few dollars at the top. So what I believe, guys, is buying small portions of tokens. If you don't know whether it's going to go up or down in the next few days, that's good, because not many people do. But if you know that in the next year to 2 years, then it's going to be moving aggressively up, or wouldn't you just be buying right now? The problem with waiting and seeing if we're going to get lower is that we will potentially take another push even further, at which point you might buy, and then potentially it pushes down, you sell because you panicked, and then you try and buy again, and you get the picture, guys. That's what basically gets people ruined, and it's not having a plan going into it. So let's say I buy $100 now at this value and it drops 50%. Now my $100 is only worth $50. But if I buy another $50, then it goes back up here, and I got more tokens than I would have originally had anyway. My value paid is lower. I'm pretty happy in general. And I think the problem is people trying to dive all in with whatever they've got and saying that right now is all I can buy and whatever. If I say I had $1,000 to invest right now, maybe I would start chipping away and putting half of that money into various tokens over the next few days to a few weeks. Who knows if it goes down, if it goes up, it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're looking for the longer term picture. Personally, I don't day trade Algorand. Too small a market cap for me in terms of like volume and stuff like that. Trading Bitcoin, Ethereum when it comes to day trading with leverage, right? If we look at this chart right now, what you can see right now is the Algorand price on the 4-hour chart forming a very big ascending wedge like this. Typically a bearish pattern. Where you would expect it to maybe put in another top about here, see something like this, and then a fall down towards the 0.21, which would be what, fall of about 20%. Potentially you could see it even going further than that. Would it be terrible if that happened? Probably not. But this is Bitcoin right now, and this was a rising wedge for Bitcoin, and we can see exactly what happened. Crypto goes through certain phases now and then where it does kind of go against technical analysis. Now, everyone knows right now that Bitcoin is overbought. However, we could still see Bitcoin taking another leg up to around 25k. I think if it does that, or it does this, eventually it's still going to have to do this. It's going to have to come back down to have a cool down. And I'm not saying it's going to come back down and dump way below this level down here. It wouldn't surprise me if we're pushing down towards this level here. Then we could see maybe some form of a pullback like this. Now, you do run a risk of waiting for this to happen on any crypto. I'm talking about Bitcoin right now because Bitcoin moves, everything else moves as well. If Bitcoin comes back and stabilizes and forms a bottom here, and then we do have a higher low, which is what we've been waiting for a very long time. And that is very exciting. Then we have a great opportunity going forward for the likes of Algorand Bitcoin. But you never know, guys. Tomorrow, Bitcoin might do 20% up, and then you're going to panic and buy in. So basically, simply just do something when you're not panicked, when you're calm. Weekends are quite good for this because the volume in the market's pretty low down. Nothing's moving around too erratically most of the time. So right now it's probably a fairly chill time to be getting in and looking at cryptos. Go across to CoinMarketCap and identify top 100 cryptocurrencies that show good potential. You don't have to understand tons about them. All you need to understand is if the project is semi-decent and the marketing is pretty good and everything else behind it sounds about right, then it will potentially see some good growth. If you go across to YouTube right now, I'll tell you a secret. The reason everyone's making videos, like I am, to be honest, on Algorand, HBAR, Solana, Gala, is because these coins are trending. And I'm not just making videos on them because I think they're going to get good views. Well, partly that, but because the trending videos have a lot of interest from a community who is going to buy that token. And if lots of people are buying that token, well, theoretically, the token value will go up. And that's interesting. So look at kind of YouTube. Grill into exactly what YouTubers are saying. A lot of it is rubbish, to be honest with you. But look at the amount of videos circulating around particular topics. If you're getting like Algorand videos and stuff like that, getting like thousands of views, then you potentially will do well. It's a weird one, guys. It's like BitBoy Crypto, who doesn't seem to know much about crypto, but he says something about a token and it goes up because he has a massive audience and lots of people go and buy it, which makes him look like he knows what he's talking about. It's kind of an interesting one. Nothing against the bloke. Anyway, if you are looking to get involved in trading or make the most from opportunities in trading, then head over to Fairdesk, which is linked down below in the description. You can get a deposit bonus over there. You can do things like copy trading, where you can follow experienced traders who are actually making money in the cryptocurrency markets, and you will then be able to earn a passive income from them. Obviously, it's not without risk, so don't go and use money that you can't afford to lose. They also have various other passive income methods where you can earn APYs and things like that, or annual percentage yields. So right now, if you're buying into tokens and you want to earn a passive income by earning a percentage on that particular cryptocurrency, which is then going to get inflated as the price goes on through this year, it's a bit of a no-brainer that you do it through a platform like Fairdesk, which is linked down below in the description. So make sure you go and check that out after this video. Guys, if you enjoyed that video, hit that thumbs up button for me. And if you want to get into my Telegram, link down below in the description, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.